Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan. Today, I don't know, wearing the same sweatshirt I seem to always be wearing when I make videos. But the other day, like yesterday, I went to the liquor store, and so yesterday was Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. I think I shot my last videos on Saturday, the Saturday before, and I said, that's probably the last videos I'll be doing for a while. Anyways, went to the liquor store looking for some allocated stuff. Typically, you can get like a stag or something like that. January, February, March is when Wyoming seems to get their distribution of stuff. And statewide, we only get like, I don't even know, 4 cases of this stuff, whatever. So much so that at the liquor store where I go here in town, they were telling me, the gal was telling me, they are now down to when they get their allocations, they only get 3 bottles, not cases, bottles of Eagle Rare, Blanton's. Think they can get like 1 or 2 cases of just standard Buffalo Trace. Um, and what else was on? Oh, and then E.H. Taylor small batch. She said she would get a couple bottles of. And that's all if they call in on the fast enough. So how it works in Wyoming, they changed everything. So for starters, Wyoming has a. I know I've said this before, but we have a rule where all of the liquor in the state of Wyoming needs to go to our warehouse down in Cheyenne. So whenever stuff's coming in from other states, it goes through the warehouse, and that is where they collect their taxes on those cases and bottles of liquor. That's where they get their liquor tax. So once it goes through the warehouse, so let me back up just a little bit more. That means that because every single bottle has to come through there, there's only so much physical space for bottles to be in that warehouse. And that kind of limits the brands we can get, the amount of distribution we can get. And some distilleries, find it to be just too much of a pain in the butt to jump through all the hoops to make it work. So that further limits what we can get. So because of that physical space, they're only allowed to get so much. I don't know how it works exactly, but like Buffalo Trace, highly allocated products, um, their distributor from the distillery to the warehouse to the state. That's one distributor, and then from the warehouse to any of the retail stores here in the state is a second distributor. So we have this system where it's already difficult to get stuff, especially because you don't have super high demand because there's only what 500,000-600,000 people that live in the entire state. Factor in how many of those are of legal drinking age, how many people actually want whiskey, and then how many people want a specific whiskey. So we don't really have the most available opportunity to buy a lot of bottles, right? They just aren't physically in the state to start with. But then it seems like, especially with Buffalo Trace stuff, that there's a fairly like when you see Bruzel or somebody else going and doing a pick or not a pick, but a hunt down in Texas, and there's cases upon cases upon cases of whatever allocated product. Like our entire state doesn't even receive that number of cases, let alone any given store. So it's kind of a backwards process that really, really sucks for trying to find allocated things. But we're able to get stuff here. I've been extremely fortunate and happy to find the things that I have found. But now it's even as of the first of the year. So like the whiskey or the retailer here in town that I would go to, they used to get a case of Buffalo Trace. Now they're limited or of Eagle Rare. Now they're limited to just 3 bottles. So what further complicates that then is every first Tuesday of the month, the retailers need to call into the state warehouse to place their order for what they want. How that supposedly works, and it seems to be a little bit crazy because there's certain retailers that seem to always get and have allocated bottles on hand and some pretty hard to get ones. So there's some questioning about perhaps some funny business going on there. But the phone lines open at 8 o'clock. and the retailers all have to call in. So there's what, 100 retailers in the state or 200 retailers in the state. They are all calling in at the same time trying to get in. And all the state does is just, hold, 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 puts everybody on hold, and they take them supposedly in order that they are calling in at. So by the time that a particular retailer actually gets to speak to a representative down at the state warehouse, there's a high probability, like if you're 50th in line, that you aren't even going to get to order any of the products because they are already spoken for and ordered out at that point. So you're playing roulette every single time. Like for me to get a bottle, the complications that a retailer goes through. It's amazing that I've gotten any bottles, let alone some really nice ones. And then for them to have gone through all that hard work and dealing with all that BS. Like I know my local retailer, there's 4 or 5 people on the phone at one time trying to get a position in line faster or better than anybody else. And multiple retailers are all doing the same kind of a thing. So it's just complicated, unnecessarily complicated, and unfair and goofy from pretty much any angle you could look at from a business standpoint. So that's a little irritating. Anyway, so I went in to see what they had, and then the gal at the counter told me, she's like, "Oh, you got to be here like Friday." So I've either happened in, like in years past, I've been like, "Hey, I'm looking for this, this, and this." They would call me if they got any of those in. Um, and then on top of that, like I would just go in and I'd happen upon stuff. I mean, like that barrel proof Taylor that I just had. I just walked in and they happened to have that, which was awesome. Um, so uh, it's not fun anymore, to be honest with you, when it comes to that stuff. But she told me they order on Tuesday, and by that Friday they should have everything. Now I've been told things like that before, and then it's on the next shipment or it's the next shipment or whatever. Like it's always like a week or two, and I'm just not going to allocate going to the store every single week to try and figure it out and find out what they got for distribution. So yeah, I'm kind of done with hunting. Like I said, I got a couple of things. I actually ordered a couple of things yesterday as well. Um, yeah, I ordered some tequila actually. 3 tequilas from Addictivo. Um, and they were a package deal where it was their Plata, their Doble Respado, and Respando or Respado? I don't know, whatever. And then their Añejo. So it was all 3 bottles for 150 bucks, so 50 bucks a bottle. Um, that wasn't too bad. And then I got Smoke Eye Hill barrel proof, and then ordered one other. I don't know. I got like 2 or 3 whiskeys that were on my hit list because they're at a reasonable price, but they were on sale on the website price. So like I ordered from Keg and Bottle, and like the Smoke Eye Hill, I think the original price tag on that was $130, and their sale price on it was 80 or $82. Okay, that's a pretty good deal. Same with the package deal of the tequilas. It was like 165 or $70, and it was on sale for 149. And then the other 2 bottles, which I can't remember what I bought, but those other 2 bottles were also on sale. So I only bought things that were on sale, and they were like 10, 15, 20, $30 cheaper than what their original retail price was on that website, which may or may not have been good deals in general, but cross some things off the list because again, I'm never going to see them here in Wyoming. But with that, I went to the liquor store and I bought 2 bottles. I got this Pendleton 1910 10-year bourbon, and then this Green River. So this is the first Green River product that I have seen here in town locally. And I asked them, I said, "Hey, are you guys going to be looking into getting more Green River products?" And the gal said, well, this is a trial run. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully other people in the area are interested in this. I've already done the full proof and the rye, which I think I picked up down in Casper, I think is where I got those. But this one is the wheated bourbon. And if you watch Bruzel or anybody else, they kind of really have said that this is a really decent bourbon. So it's 90 proof, 45% ABV, just their regular wheated. And I picked this up for $31.89. So, I mean, pretty darn cheap. It's 90 proof. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to see what we get out of it. I mean, this is, wheated bourbon. So essentially, you're talking like a counterpart to Maker's Mark, Weller, um, the stag line. Uh, Actually, let me quick bring up my phone here, and we'll see what the other, I forget what the other Buffalo Trace wheated mash bills are. So we got Weller. Oh, Weller and Pappy. There you go. Those are the two wheated mash bills. Stag is actually not. Um, that is the low rye mash bill. So Benchmark, Old Charter, Buffalo Trace, E.H. Taylor, Bowman Brothers, Stag, and Eagle Rare are all the low rye mash bill #1 mash bills. So there you go. Anyways, so yeah, comparable to the Weller and the Pappy line. So there it is. I'm not expecting it to be absolutely amazing, but it's also only $32. What more do you want? The nose is pretty tamped down. Nice, sweet, bright apple, fruit apple. Very, very sweet. Um, with a uh, there's a like a hard candy, sugary, and there's like a specific hard candy that I can't think of what exactly it is. Like it's in my brain. I'm hearing, yep, you've had that before. Um, Coming out of the glass. So it's apple and and a little bit of caramel and honey in there, a little bit of vanilla, but man, it's just like hard sweet candy and apple, but not a apple candy of any sort. Very nice. On the sip, here we go. The whole profile is light. It's I was gonna say thin, but thin's not the right word. Um, so there are distinct, like several. I'm gonna have to go back into that for sure. There was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 distinct notes. None of them were spiky, and none of them had a lot of heft. Um, it seems to me like this should be at 100 plus proof. Like it has a lot more it wants to offer, but even at 90, it's watered down so much that it's really taken away the flavor. But on the back end of it, you got a little bit more ethanol in there. I didn't even look at an age statement on here. I'm gonna guess that this is just a standard NAS. So minimum 4 years, and it is a sour mash as well. But yeah, it had a lot of flavor profile, and then like in the mid palate, kind of mellowed out, and the ethanol kicked in, and like the ethanol, black pepper, kind of that's what the finish went into. Um, Fairly well balanced and sweet. Um, it's interesting because like all the flavors up front, like the front and mid palate that I was getting, were very, very tamped down, thin, light, but it wasn't watery. There wasn't a lack of flavor. It just was a lack of intensity in flavor. And it also had a kind of creamy, light mouthfeel that like it coated my tongue with like a creaminess, but it it felt like it was going to give you a whole bunch of intensity on the flavor, and then it just didn't. So it's very interesting. But easy sipping. I liked it. The nose has not really changed. Let's see if we can get you some actual tasting notes here now. So up front, it's like caramel corn, a bunch of sweet notes, sugary sweet notes. So caramel corn, um, a little bit of butteriness to it, a little bit of confectioner sugar. There is a little bit of a sour ethanol bite kind of picked up in the middle of the mid palate there. There's like a nice sharp honey graham cracker before it moved into that, and then on the finish, it was just a nice honey oak with a little bit of black pepper spice in there. That time the ethanol did not come through as much. Um, so just classic bourbon notes all the way around. Um, you could get a little bit of apple or cherry in that flavor profile as well. Um, last sip, let's see what we can get out of it. Yeah, just very sweet up front, very nice. There is a sour tannic mid palate to it, like the oak is in that mid palate, in a tannic fashion that I'm not a huge fan of because it's that bitterness mixed with the ethanol kind of right in that mid palate that interrupts the sweetness. But then on the back end in the finish, that bitterness is tamped down with another sweetness where it's still the dominating black pepper spice characteristic, but it's more mellowed out. So like that mid palate is where that really comes on, the ethanol and the tannic bitterness, the astringency. It's not over the top. It's not too much, but it really interrupts that sweetness. Like it's too pronounced, right? So it's like nice, light, sweet, whatever, and then there is that spike. So I said it wasn't very spiky. That spike of ethanol that picks up in the middle brings that bitterness. And then it finishes out really nice and balances itself back out. But you do get this intense spike in the middle. It's really nice. And for what did I say? $32, $31.89. Yeah, I would definitely buy that. I would say that this is a better product than the Weller Special Reserve, just because you get more flavors out of it. Um, there's just more in this bottle than there is in a reserve. So the green label bottle Weller. If you're paying more than 20 something dollars, maybe 30 something dollars for a Weller Special Reserve, definitely be looking at this. This is way better product in my opinion, and I think it's highly worth it. So with that, drop in the comments down below what you can find a bottle of Green River wheated bourbon for in your area, what your experience with it is, or anything else that you have to say. Look forward to hearing from you as far as that goes. And as always, thanks for watching. Catch us in the next video where we're going to dive into this Pendleton 10. So there you go. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you then.